Hello everyone, my name is Amit and I'm a co-founder of Dazeinfo Media and Research. Uh, Generally, I'm not from here, I'm from Karnataka, Bangalore. My startup registered there. It's been almost like 27, 28 years I've been working in Karnataka, Bangalore, working closely a lot with lot many startups. We work with lot many policymakers, aligned closely with the government of Karnataka, especially the Elevate program, which is the largest grant program in India at this point in time. How many of you have heard about Elevate Next? No one. So just quickly to inform you that Elevate Next is India's largest grant program only for AI startups. It's a 1 CR grant which you can achieve and you can get it within almost 90 days. The first 50 lakhs get disbursed within 45 days and rest of the money comes in next 6 months. But that is about the Karnataka because I am more aligned and closely understand, Karnataka ecosystem better than the UP. But I am the one who's drawing the parallels. I'm also who's doing the benchmarking between the UP startup ecosystem, especially when it comes to AI and the Bangalore startup system, because I have seen both the worlds. So for me, drawing the parallels and doing the comparison is much more easier. And finding out how exactly the policy is which you people can leverage here and how exactly those entrepreneurs who are there, who have been doing phenomenal work, how exactly they have been leveraging those policies and those programs. Before I move further, first of all, it is important for you to understand why you should hear me. Uh, this is my second startup. I did my first startup way back in 2001. There was nothing called a startup. I sold it in 2006, left India, worked 10 years for different geographies, Europe, Middle East. I was heading Middle East Africa market for LG, before that Polaris. Then came back in 2017 and 2018-19, I did some job for Sodexo, got a project. And after that, I did my second startup, which is currently called Dazeinfo. We are an AI-driven market intelligence platform. We have created the largest data lake of 20 million plus data points. Today, each and every data which travels on the internet, we try to track it, sanitize it, structure it, and then we have got a different use cases. One of the use cases is we launched the AI report for the BFSI in GFF, which is India's largest fintech conference, which takes place every year in Mumbai. So that is all about me, and I closely work with lot many startups because I also invest. There's around 18 startups in my portfolio currently. The last one which I have invested, that is again the AI company, Revrag AI, which is now backed by Chandani. So when I see these parallels and when I compare the policies between UP and Karnataka, I can clearly see there is a huge difference. But the problem is not in the policy, or the problem is also not in the pilot projects, what we are doing here. What I find, the problem is perception. The way, or the way, the professionals in UP, especially in Lucknow, because I have been told, because whenever I speak with anyone, people talks about the UP. Any guesses how many startups are there in UP? Just take a wild guess. Anyone knows? How many total DPIIT registered startups in India? So they are 2.1 lakh. That is the exact close to number. It is as per the DPIIT registered startups. And out of that, UP stands which number? Fifth, 10th? Sorry? Okay. So UP stands at third number. But I tell you something very interesting. When I was speaking with lot many founders, especially the AI founders like you, because of late, like 3-4 startups, my recent investments has gone into AI startups only. What I found that most of these numbers have been led by Noida. So if you keep that NCR, and whenever I speak with any of the founders from the Noida part, you know how they speak. आप कहाँ से हो? मैं दिल्ली NCR से हूँ. वो कभी भी यूपी नहीं बोलते. They always say कि मैं Delhi NCR से हूँ. My startups in Delhi NCR. They do not even believe that they are a part of UP. So this is something which fascinated me. कि why? Obviously, technically, you're falling in UP. Noida is a part of UP. But when the moment I keep the UP out, in fact, we also have. In fact, UP was the only state which used to have 3 IITs, and right now there's 2 IITs still. When Purvanchal is Uttarakhand is already a separate state, still UP has got one is BHU IIT and one is IIT Kanpur. We all know, but still when it comes to startup, and when it comes to AI specifically, have you ever thought why we have let back? The clean and the simple reason is because we do not leverage on policies. And why? Because we do not know how many policies are there. How many of you already know that in UP, there is an AI specific policy which can get you 15 lakh rupees? We only know there is a startup policy in UP which can give you a grant of 11 lakh rupees, but there is also another policy exists where you can get 11 lakh to 15 lakh rupees. So the problem here is it's not about policies or projects or the pilots, whatever you do. It's a awareness because we do not know what all policies are existing and we do not know how to capitalize on that. And that is the biggest challenge today. And trust me, we do not try to leverage also. How many here in this room, as I can see, there are like 30, 40 odd people are there. How many are aspiring or budding entrepreneurs here? I can see like 7, 8 hands. Most of other people are either working, and there's no harm in that, obviously. Obviously, if you are great in doing job, that's the best thing to do. But when it comes to, I keep on telling, मतलब मैं जनरली लोग से जो बात करता हूँ तो मैं यही बोलता हूँ कि द मेजर डिफरेंस बिटवीन बैंगलोर एंड हियर, बैंगलोर में अगर आप किसी भी लाउंज में, पब में, कहीं पे भी जाओगे, एंड इफ यू स्टार्ट ओवर हियरिंग, most of the time, even there are 3, 4 people who are already here from Bangalore who have spent a good time in Bangalore in the ecosystem, and they would agree. Most of the time, the discussion would be चार discussions. मेरे को फंडिंग नहीं मिल रही है, बैठे लाउंज में है, बैठे पब में है, लेकिन डिस्कशन चल रहा है, मेरे को फंडिंग नहीं मिल रही है, मेरे को एम्प्लॉय नहीं मिल रहा है, मेरी जो है जीटीएम स्ट्रेटजी सॉर्ट आउट नहीं है, और या फिर मेरे को को-फाउंडर नहीं मिल रहा है. These are the only 4 major discussions which, if you try to overhear, you will get it over there. And यहाँ पे scenario थोड़ा सा अलग है. यहाँ पे the fight is different, and I totally agree and totally understand why the fight is different, because we have not been guided, we have not been encouraged. Take an example. Well, please turn around and you see how many people are there. This is 5:30 at this point in time. Hardly there are 30, 40. You think about an organizer who have set up a huge show here. They have spent a lot of money, right? And how many people are really here? Because we do not value the resources, what is already available for our disposal. And that's the reason I said it's not about policies, it's not about pilots, it's not about anything. It's about perception. Unless until your perception will not change, it will be very difficult to make UP or leverage whatever you make it. Do you know, as per KPMG report, I think there's a KPMG guys were there. I just met somewhere. I don't know if they're still in the room. There was a KPMG report. UP is the biggest hub for AI training. If you want to train your LLM based upon, because UP is the largest state. And that's the reason most of these most of the startups who are working on AI and they have to train, they have to create a wrapper or they have to create a solution, they come to UP, they have some kind of tie-up with UP because of the population, because of the uses. No other state is offering that kind of training or that such a lot. Why? Because in UP mein, kam se kam mere khayal se, if I'm not wrong, there are at least 7 to 8 different kind of languages. Every 100, 150 kilometers, your water, language, style, living standards, everything changes. So the way you can train your LLM, the way you can train your solution here, you cannot get it done in any other state. For example, you go to Karnataka, you will have 2 to 3 language max. One is English, which is a common one. Second one is Kannada, and third one is mostly Hindi, what we all speak. But when it comes to UP, here there's a different. You go towards Meerut side, you'll have a different language. You go towards what do you call Mau or Gorakhpur side, you'll have a different language. And the preferences also changes drastically. So when I see the stark difference, or there is a stark difference between this and UP, I personally feel that it's a game of perception which we all need to understand, we all need to leverage. Why I'm talking all those things? Because there is enough I think back to back there was all tech talks were there. We people talked heavily about the different tech, and I felt let's make the whole situation a little lighter for you to understand. A startup does not start the day you register your company. The journey starts way back. And again, today, when it comes to AI, automatically most of all are busy in making rappers over here. Today, if you try to go and try to get a funding, so I'll tell you a very interesting use case. When this 1 crore new policy which has come up, which is called Elevate Next, when it was created, there was a mandate was very clear. There is a very clear mandate from Khargeji, he is the ITBD minister, that whole, and last year, 50 lakh each was given to 139 startups. This year, the 1 crore is this one, and the mandate is very clear that we need to select only the deep tech and AI specific solutions. So why I'm talking all those things? Because we need to understand how exactly other startups in other states or how other governments are leveraging those policies, leveraging whatever they have, and then they are taking their states to the next level. Same way, there are a lot many policies in UP as well. Government is doing enough, but you must understand there is a policy, and if you do not go and leverage on that, if you do not go and search about all those policies, it will be very difficult. The money is on the table, but you people are leaving it. So this is something which I can see there's a major difference when you compare there and this side. That is a major thing which I wanted to highlight. I thought I'll talk different, but when I see, okay, most of the people have left and most of the people here were talking about technical, I thought, let's talk something little different, which makes little more meaningful to all those people who are at least available here. Another major point which I want to highlight is about the grant program. As I can see, there's only 6 to 7 startups here, but whenever I interact with the startups here, I have seen each and every entrepreneur is doing 5 to 6 startups. You go to, Innovation Hub, which is a body here for grant and all those things. You'll go and meet, you'll see that each person is doing at least 4 to 5 startups. And if you are an entrepreneur by yourself, you would agree that it's very difficult to do 6 to 7 or 5 to 6 startup at the same time, because one startup is very difficult. How can you survive? But here, the focus is more on grant. So I definitely want to suggest, boss, look on the bigger price. Grant is very small. When you go for the policies, when you take a policy route, try to hardly you will get it 11 lakh or 15 lakh or 10 lakh, whatever the grant amount is being decided here. Beyond that, if you look for funding, which is a much bigger gain, and if you can leverage and if you can get that, that will be much more easier for you, because today, whole world is talking about AI. Everything is getting converted into AI. And in fact, how many people have you have read the news about Anthro, which happened today morning? There are few ones, right? But so all those other people who do not know, U.S. president, he has banned the Anthro at this point in time. There is a big tussle going on between him and him, because he does not want that companies most will be keep on using the Anthro LLM for various reasons. What we know in whatever happened and whatever the CEO of the Anthro has said in last 2 months and whatever things they have launched, whether it is different tools or whether how exactly they're projected. But still, there is a lot of investors ready. At this point in time, there was a last year data which I'm talking about. There was another report where the investors said that we were not able to find right kind of AI startups in 2025 in India, and that's why $1.2 billion left unused. $1.2 billion, it is close to 11,000 crore rupees. So if we are not able to leverage that, we need more and more startups, especially coming out from UPs, because here, finding what with my limited understanding, I'm here for last few days only, whatever the number of people I have interacted, I personally feel setting up team here in UP is much more easier as compared to Mumbai or Karnataka or something. Lot of talent is available here. Lot many people have came back from wherever they're working at this point in time. And if you really want to build something, you will not find a better place than UP. Because if you go to Karnataka, if you go to Mumbai, if you go to some other cities, they have got different challenges. In fact, just yesterday I was reading a report. In Bangalore, there was a two-bedroom flat. The rent is 18,000. Why? Because sunlight is coming. So I believe all those things, when you see it, it is very difficult to hear and accept. But these are the challenges, or rather, I would call distractions over there. When you hear, you are with your family, you're sitting here, you have a lot many talent pool around available here, lot many policies where the number of competitors are very less. I'm in the jury in Karnataka with the Elevate program. The number of application we have to select out of that, last year we selected 130 startups. That those are very, very high. It is 1:370 odd. But if you try to do the same thing in UP, the numbers are very, very less. That means the competition is very less. And this is the right time to leverage on these policies. So my suggestion to you is that start looking out for all those policies which are available in the market. And if you try to do something which is more meaningful for the ecosystem, there is no better place than UP at this point in time, because AI City was already announced. I understand it was announced, I believe, way back. It's been few years when it was announced, but recently more than 10,000 rupees has been disbursed. I was just talking today morning with someone, one of the panelists, and then he was telling me 10,000 crores has already been assigned and is going to be disbursed soon. So considering all those things, if you try to connect dots, I personally believe UP is the right place at this point in time. And if you start doing something here, try to get up a team, try to set up your startup, or whatever you want to do is, there's no better time than now. With this, because since morning you people already been stationed here, you have been gone through a lot of tech discussions and all. I'm not going to bore you any further. Yeah, if you have questions.
Yeah. I have a question. You talked about the perception, very right. I agree with that. And you are telling the policies exist, right? And the students or the newcomers or the new startup guys should. I'll repeat it again. You talked about the perception, completely agree, and you talked about the policies that is already in this market through the government, but the new generation or the new startup guys or the college students, there is clearly a miscommunication between the government policies because it is not reaching to the right audience, right?
Correct.
So I just wanted to know how you can suggest the newcomers how they should, leverage or mitigate that this communication gap.
See, government job is not to make sure that they should know about policies. Their job is to make policies. Now, it is up to the mentors of the ecosystem. Every state has got their local ecosystem. Here, TIE Lucknow is there, and I'm sure there will be few other ecosystems. In Bangalore, there's so many, really so many. Here there will be 3, 4 at least for which I can say. It is their job to make sure that all the aspiring entrepreneurs, all the students should get the right kind of mentorship and right kind of direction. As I said, I just met few of them, and then they said, yeah, I'm doing 4 startups, I'm doing 3 startups. No, you cannot do 3, 4 startups, boss. चांस ही नहीं है. यहाँ साला एक स्टार्टअप करने में हालत खराब हो जाती है अगर तुमको उसको सीरियसली करना है. 500 करोड़ का स्टार्टअप, 600 करोड़ का स्टार्टअप, यूनिकॉर्न बनाना है, सूनिकॉर्न बनाना है, मिनीकॉर्न बनाना है, इतना फाइट है, इतना रिसोर्स नहीं मिलता है, फंड नहीं मिलता है, इतने सारे चैलेंजेस तो एक स्टार्टअप बनाने में है. 6 स्टार्टअप कैसे बनाओगे एक समय में? And I was totally surprised.
And one point I would like to add, see, there is a huge difference between Karnataka and UP. UP has very much potential. Like you said, the cost of living is less, the cost of, forming a team is less, startup is less. But at the same time, if you say the guidance is very less comparatively to the Karnataka. Okay, I met a lot of startup founders who are already doing a great job, but they are not getting the right customer. The customer over here are not ready to pay. There is a huge difference between the people who are paying.
UP is not a market, dear. जैसे कि कभी भी इंडिया मार्केट था ही नहीं. इंडिया में आईटी सिस्टम 1991 में कैसे बना? इन्फोसिस विप्रो ने यहाँ पे बनाया और बेचा यूएस में. यूपी मार्केट नहीं है, यूपी प्रोडक्शन हाउस है. बट आप मार्केट ध्यान रखो कहाँ है. आइज ऑन द प्राइस. मार्केट आपका बैंगलोर है, मार्केट आपका मुंबई है, मार्केट आपका हैदराबाद है, प्रोडक्शन हाउस लखनऊ है.
And what about the guidance? Because if there is no market, obviously देखो टॉप लेवल की अगर हम बात करते हैं कम्युनिटी की बात करते हैं, कम्युनिटी वहां लोग प्रेफर करते हैं फॉर्म करना. यूपी इज ग्रोइंग नो डाउट, एआई सिटी इज कमिंग इन एवरीथिंग, बट कम्युनिटी लोग वहां फॉर्म करना चाहते हैं जहां प्रॉपर इकोसिस्टम है. ठीक है, यहाँ अभी वो इकोसिस्टम नहीं हुआ है, तो आप क्या सजेस्ट करोगे न्यू कमर्स के लिए कि कहाँ उनको कम्युनिटी या प्रॉपर गाइडेंस मिले?
कम्युनिटी की आपको जरूरत ही नहीं है यार, लिंक्डइन सबके पास है. आई एम श्योर यहाँ सबका आप मोबाइल चेक कर लोगे, सबके मोबाइल फोन में भी लिंक्डइन पड़ा होगा, लेकिन
Exactly.
यूज कितने लोग करते हैं?
एग्जैक्टली.
आज की डेट में हर एक बंदा जो ढंग का बंदा है वो लिंक्डइन पे एक्टिव है, अवेलेबल है. आप उसको एक मैसेज ड्रॉप करोगे, वो सूनर और लेटर ही विल रिप्लाई. आज की डेट में सारी जर्नी, मैं इतने सारे इन्वेस्टर्स के साथ काम करता हूं, तो हम लोग उनके लिए ड्यू डिलिजेंस करते हैं. आप इन्वेस्टर से मिलने के लिए एक रिक्वेस्ट डालोगे, उसका पहला स्टेप, पहला एक्शन क्या होता है पता है? वो सबसे पहले आपकी लिंक्डइन प्रोफाइल चेक करेगा. आप किसी कस्टमर को आप पिच नोट डालोगे, सबसे पहले आपकी लिंक्डइन प्रोफाइल चेक करेगा.
मैं बस यही चाह रहा था कि आप गाइड करो बच्चों को कि लिंक्डइन इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, हाउ दे कैन कनेक्ट विद द राइट पीपल.
लिंक्डइन से ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट कुछ है ही नहीं आज की डेट में. एंड इफ यू आर नॉट लिंक्डइन, दैट मींस यू आर नॉट एग्जिस्टिंग इन द इकोसिस्टम. एंड एज फॉर द एज गाइडेंस इज कंसर्न, मैं आपको एक इंटरेस्टिंग चीज बताता हूं. जो कर्नाटका के इकोसिस्टम को लीड कर रहे हैं, लकीली ज्यादातर लोग यूपी से ही है.
एग्जैक्टली.
जैसे कि केडम है, तो वहां पे एक बॉडी बनाई गई कर्नाटका डिजिटल इकोनॉमी मिशन, व्हिच इज अ टोटल सेपरेट बॉडी व्हिच लीड्स द होल आईटी इकोसिस्टम इन कर्नाटका, डायरेक्टली रिपोर्टिंग टू मिस्टर खरगे, हु इज आईटी बीडी मिनिस्टर. गेस हु इज द सीईओ? संजीव गुप्ता फ्रॉम झांसी. He is making from last 5 years, कहां से कहां ले गए. इस समय there is a beyond Bangalore program. अभी हम लोग बात करते हैं कि बैंगलोर से कॉम्पीट करना, बॉस बैंगलोर से तो तुम लोग कॉम्पीट कर ही नहीं सकते. अभी हम लोग को कॉम्पीट करना है, जो उन्होंने बियॉन्ड बैंगलोर में 3 नई सिटीज सेटअप कर दी है: मैसूर, मैंगलोर एंड एचबीडी, हुबली धारवाड़ बेलगामी. और अभी जो उन्होंने सेटअप किया है उसको टोटली डिफरेंट फोकस एरिया से सेटअप किया है. मैसूर को सेटअप किया उन्होंने सिर्फ सेमीकंडक्टर और साइबर सिक्योरिटी के लिए, बिकॉज हिज हाइनेस जो है मैसूर के, उनका अपना खुद का एक सबसे बड़ा साइबर सिक्योरिटी का स्कूल है. मैंगलोर को उन्होंने डेवलप किया है, क्यों? क्योंकि एनआईटी के सूरतकल मैंगलोर में है, देयर इज अनदर मणिपाल मैंगलोर में है. तो मैंगलोर को उन्होंने एड्यूटेक और फिनटेक, क्योंकि साउथ इंडिया के जितने भी बैंक्स होते थे उनका हेडक्वार्टर मणिपाल में था, वहां पे होता था. तो इसलिए उन्होंने उसको मैंगलोर को उस तरह से डेवलप किया है.
Okay, just one last question. You are more aligned with the Karnataka government policies, right? You said that.
Yeah.
And you're also bridging the gap between like UP.
Exactly.
So what are the challenges that you are facing here in UP, which is, increasing the gap, increasing the struggle, or increasing the toughness for the startup ecosystem?
एक्साइटमेंट, क्योंकि सब लोग अपने अपने कंफर्ट जोन में हैं. मतलब अपने घर है, ठीक है, कुछ भी नहीं किया, घर जाएंगे तो खाना तो मिल ही जाएगा, सोने के लिए घर है ही है. अभी अभी यहीं में से आप 10 लोग जो बैंगलोर चले जाओ, 1 तारीख को आपका ओनर आएगा, नॉक नॉक नॉक, रेंट चाहिए, आप नहीं खाओगे 4 दिन तक तो कोई पूछेगा नहीं. तो वी आर द सेम पीपल, वी आर नॉट डिफरेंट पीपल, वी आर द सेम पीपल हु एक्ट डिफरेंटली हियर. एंड देन व्हेन वी गो देयर, इट्स नॉट द केस ओनली कर्नाटका. आप यूएस में जाओ, We are the same people who started acting in a different way. हम लेन भी फॉलो करने लगेंगे, हम ये भी फॉलो करने लगेंगे, एक कचरा भी बाहर नहीं फेंकेंगे, अपनी गाड़ी के अंदर ही रख लेंगे, जब तक घर नहीं पहुंचेंगे डस्टबिन में ही जाके फेंकेंगे. लेकिन we act differently here. तो यहाँ की जो एनर्जी है, हमको उस एनर्जी को जगाना है. If you people are not doing that kind of things, it's very difficult to compete. And trust me, if you are lagging behind, next 5 to 6 years is going to be very, very tough. Today, most of the cream dala cream is leaving from UP. Why? Because they are not finding that energy. They are coming, definitely they are coming. Abhi, I was just talking, me and one of my friends was talking. How many of you know IndiGroup? So IndiGroup के owner का नाम है ऋषि. IndiGroup is a listed co-working, India's second largest after WeWork. उसको कहाँ से पड़ा, किसी का guess? कुछ मत बोलना. महानगर वॉइस से. प्रॉब्लम यही है, बैठे सब हैं इकोसिस्टम में, लेकिन हम लोग को कनेक्शंस पता नहीं है, हम लोग पता नहीं करते उनके बारे में, एफर्ट नहीं डालते हैं, हम लोग एक्साइटेड नहीं हैं. These are the problems. In fact, now the IndiGroup is coming here. They have already signed a deal. They are setting up a GCCs there. A lot many things are happening. आप IIT चले जाओ, IIT कानपुर, कितने लोगों ने इक्सिगो से फ्लाइट कभी या होटल कुछ भी बुक किया होगा? इक्सिगो बहुत सारे लोग हैं। कितने लोग आलोक को जानते हैं और कहाँ से पढ़ा है, कोई जानता है? द ओनर ऑफ एग्जीगो, IIT कानपुर से। यार बहुत लोग हैं यूपी के, अगर आप सचमुच में कुछ करना चाहो, अगर कोई इवेंट भी प्रॉपरली करना चाहो, आप उनके साथ नेटवर्क मेंटरिंग उनको पूछो, कितना वो लोग मेंटर करते हैं। और डेली मतलब एवरी मंथ दे आर डूइंग लॉट मेनी मेंटर्स ओवर देयर, दे आर डूइंग लॉट मेनी स्टार्टअप्स, दे आर वर्किंग विद लॉट मेनी स्टार्टअप्स एज ए मेंटर्स। बट द प्रॉब्लम इज बाहर के जो एस्पायरिंग एंटरप्रेन्योर्स हैं, they are reaching out more in numbers as compared to us.
I think this is the main key takeaway of the entire session, so that the new guys can take it from you.
That's all. Thanks a lot, guys. This is all about me. I'm here very much available. I'm available on LinkedIn. Please do connect if you need any kind of guidance. Thank you.